Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Novella, and on Friday I normally take a deep dive into a book or the body of work of one specific author. But today I want to ask for your help. I want you to help me push publishers in England or in the UK or Australia or Canada or wherever to translate these books, because it's necessary. They are brilliant books and you are missing out. There are so many books that stay under the radar and that really deserve a good translation. But sometimes the publishing houses of the original works are so small that it's difficult for them to find a publishing house abroad who wants to translate their work, and maybe we can do something. The first book that I want to talk about is Heerlijk by Fleur Pierets. Fleur Pierets is a Dutch-speaking Belgian author who was part of the duo of women that wanted to marry in 23 different countries, but unfortunately her partner died of a very aggressive cancer and they could only marry 6 times or something. Now, she is a very good author, and the woman that stayed behind, Fleur Pierets, and she has written a book about, well, it's partly a novel, partly essay around the question, if you are gay, do you have to write about gay people? Do you have to write about your culture, if you can call it a culture? Do you have to, sort of make sure that other gay people feel recognized in your books? Or can you just do whatever you want? And that's an interesting question to read about, and partly she does it in essay form, and partly she does it in via a story where they refer to Carol, the book by Patricia Highsmith. And if you know the story of Carol, you know that Carol and Therese Bellevet did a road trip, and they follow the road trip and they stay in each hotel where possible. It is a very good book. It's very well written. It's written with a lot of heart and a lot of passion, and it's very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed reading it. It helped me think about certain aspects, and I found it a really, really good book. I was thoroughly surprised and happy that I've read it, but I also feel saddened that I couldn't talk about this book on this channel because it isn't translated. So there you go. And for my Dutch-speaking followers, maybe it's time to pick it up. Then another book that actually is one of the reasons. So there are 2 reasons why I started this channel. One, I wanted people to read The Wall by Marlene Haushofer, and B, I wanted Trofee by Gaea Schoeters, also a Belgian author, a Dutch-Belgian author, to be recognized for the magnificent work that she has written. Trofee is about a man who is upper middle class, and he's a stockbroker or something of the sort, and as a hobby he goes hunting in Africa, and he already shot 4 of the big 5, and now he has a permit to kill the last one. And we follow his journey in Africa while he's hunting, and things don't go as planned, and there is a huge twist in the story. It is absolutely necessary that everybody can read this book. It is written with a beautiful pen, let's say, beautiful words, beautiful descriptions, very tactile, very visceral, but also it makes us reflect on how corrupt the Western world often is and what kind of impact that has on the African people and the African land and everything. It is an amazing story. It is shocking. You will never forget it. It is thrilling also. It is engrossing. It is, for me, it was the best book of 2021. And I really think that she deserves more publicity, and especially a translation into English and French. No, French is already done, but into English, that would be great. It is an amazing, amazing, amazing story, amazing book, and it's an absolute sucker punch, and it's really good. But if you think, oh no, I don't want to read about hunting, don't worry about it. You will feel empowered afterwards. Just read it. Then another book that only came out in Dutch. So this is a book translated. It's by Fernando Pessoa, but it's a Belgian author or a Dutch-speaking author. Let's keep it to that. I'm not sure if he's Belgian or Dutch. Doesn't matter. It's brilliant. So he graduated, he made his doctorate he majored on Fernando Pessoa as a translator, and all the non-published pieces of text that he has written, even the incomplete, are in this book and translated into Dutch. So it's a huge work, but it is magnificent. Pessoa is a master in language, in imagery. It's beautiful. You need to read it. It's beautiful. Each time I read a sentence, I get goosebumps. So good is it. Please translate this work. Make sure that people all over the world can read this book. It is so, so well done. Like, I will try to translate the beginning. When, after my death, they want to write my biography, there's nothing simpler than that. There will be only two dates. The date of my birth and the date of my death. The days in between are mine. I love it. It's so, so beautiful. This is not 5 stars. This is 200 stars. Pessoa is so good. And it are all snippets, but this is such a brilliant book that you can read like every morning, 5 minutes. Makes you think about during the rest of the day. What a way to start your day. And you deserve to read this book. I'm, thoroughly convinced. Another book by one of my favorite Dutch authors that I'm sure she is Dutch. It's Niña Weijers. Niña Weijers is an author who is incredible, but she mostly writes essays, and this is her essays. It's called Zelf, doen. It is a magnificent work of where she tries writing, while writing, to find a way through life, and she talks about her dog, and she learns about life through her driving instructor. It's amazing stories, very short but very beautiful written. You can't but underline stuff and to try to remember sentences. I do nothing else with this book. It's such a great book, and also it's the essays are mostly a couple of pages maximum. She talks about Annie Arnaud. She talks about a lot of authors that influenced her. It's such a beautiful, complete work. She's quite young. She only has a toddler, and Niña Weijers, Zelf, doen. Beautiful, beautiful. Also 5 stars. Another Dutch author who recently passed away is Jeroen Brouwers. Jeroen Brouwers was one of the big authors in Holland, in the Netherlands, but also very popular in Flanders, of course. And just before he died, he wrote this book. Jeroen Brouwers wrote Cliënt et Busken. This is such a phenomenal, phenomenal work. You can't even imagine. It blows you away. I've never seen something as exceptional as this. This is the story of Mr. Busken, and he is, he has Alzheimer's, so he kind of knows what's happening around him, but he doesn't have the language anymore to form correct sentences. So what you have is, a whirlwind or a wave of beautiful, beautiful words that come over you, and they don't make sense, and they make absolute sense. In a way, not one single sentence is correct, but still you know perfectly what he wants to say. And you know it's a bit of an... But you get it. And it's so... You go like, how do you do that? And you have people that try to interact with him, but he is so angry because, he's so angry he can't say what he wants to say. And sometimes very simple stuff like, please close the window because it's cold, that doesn't work. But he says it in a different way, and yet you understand what he's trying to say. Not an easy task to translate this book, but if you do, you're my hero. Yeah, you're my hero. Jeroen Brouwers, he won the Libris Literatuurprijs in 2021. This is the most important Dutch and Flemish literary award, and well deserved. It is so phenomenal. This is... I was blown away. I was without words. It's phenomenal. Then the winner of this year's award, Libris Award, is Wormmaan by Mariken Heitman. Wormmaan is about, I've talked about this book on this channel before because I really wanted to talk about it. It is about a biologist who is specialized in genetic modification. And with her team, they are trying to modify a pumpkin, and they want to create the ideal pumpkin. And finally, they have an excellent result, but a competing team from another company did the same thing, and theirs was even better. So, the team got dissolved, and she takes with her a pea plant that they harvested somewhere in Turkey or the Turkish area. And that pea plant is very close to the original plant as it was millions of years ago. And she takes it with her, and she goes to somewhere, an island, a Dutch island. There are many of those, and they want to reverse the evolution that plant had made on its own. And while she's doing that, she realizes that the way she is as a person in society, and the way how she feels and how society treats her, is what she does to that plant. And because she asks herself the question, am I female? Am I non-binary? Am I trans? It's a very, very well done book. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. Then the last Dutch book, this is Dutch by Jante Wortel, Weerlicht. This is also a phenomenal book. This is a book about a family, a mother, father, 2 kids, teenagers, a girl and a boy, and they go on a camping trip to Norway. Now, the mother has a weak health ever since she gave birth to the daughter. She has lung troubles, problems with her lung capacity, and the girl is, keeping her family hostage because she has an eating disorder. And in a way, she manipulates the whole family with her eating disorder. And you would normally think that when you are at home, everything is much more enclosed. You can't hide for each other, but it's actually the reverse. So when they are on their camping trip with their little camper, they live very closely with each other. And things have to explode. And it's a wonderful, wonderful book about eating disorders, about growing up as a teenager, about the brother who is acting up because he doesn't get any attention at all because everything goes to the daughter, and the mother who is also very sickly. So it's a very powerful, claustrophobic, well-written book. Yeah, really good, really good. Now I'm going to stop with the Dutch books and the Dutch-speaking books. There is one German book, a Swiss book, but written in the German language. Bloedboek is written by Kim de l'Horizon. They are Swiss, and but their language is German, and it is a phenomenon in Switzerland and in Germany, and probably the rest of the German-speaking world. Bloedboek just won a very important award, and the story is about their youth. So they have to go back to their little village somewhere in a remote suburb in Switzerland to take care of the mother who has dementia again. And they just wonder why the mother can't tell herself apart from her own sister, who died many, many, many years ago when she was still little. And they want to investigate why that is, and more secrets come up, and they also learn why it was so difficult for their family to accept them. Apparently, it is a phenomenal book. It is a book that is very visceral written. It's with things in caps, things in German dialect or Swiss dialect, in Hochdeutsch. It is apparently like they change clothes, they change up the way they write. So it must be phenomenal, and I really, really want to read that book. A lot of people have talked about it last Sunday when I met a lot of expats, and they all said talk about Bloedboek because it's really good. And here I am. So please translate this book because we are missing out. Another book is Kanada by Juan Gomez Barcena. Kanada is more of a novella. This is written by a Spanish author. This is about Kanada is an area in Auschwitz, the camp, where they did the triage of the belongings of the people who arrived in the camps. And sometimes the protagonist discovered gruesome things and saw gruesome things. And this is a book about trauma and how you can or not cope with trauma. And this is so well done, so well done. I couldn't speak. The first hour after I've read this book, I couldn't speak. I was so flabbergasted by the language and by the story and the power of every single word. You deserve to read this book and to explore this book and talk about this book. It is amazing. Kanada by Juan Gomez Barcena. The last one, I've talked about this book also already a couple of times. It is a French-Canadian book. Funny enough, it's not translated in English, but in Dutch and in Italian, I believe. And it's by Gabriel Filteau-Chiba. Here it's called De Wilden. The original title is Sauvagine. This is about a woman who sells everything and leaves to work in a park where she lives in a cabin without any electricity or internet or whatever. She befriends a dog that is partly coyote, and she calls him Coyote, and at a certain point the coyote, her dog Coyote, was trapped, got stuck in a trap, and she discovers a whole, almost industrialized coyote farm, not farm, but it actually a killing field. And she takes action to those people who work there illegally, and things go sour very quickly. I really like this book. I absolutely adore this book. Is it high literature? No, but it's a very good story, and it's an engaging story, and it's well written. And I really want to read more about Gabriel Filteau-Chiba. Normally, this should be the third in a trilogy, but I didn't even know that it was part of a trilogy, so it doesn't matter. It works perfectly as a standalone book. I really, really enjoyed it. And please translate it into English, because there is an audience for this. Believe me, there is an audience for this. So that's it. My fellow other-speaking booktubers, well, I mean my fellow foreign booktubers, if there are books that aren't translated into English and that are worth being translated, please let us know. My fellow English-speaking booktubers, get the word out. If there are books you want to read, let people know that you want to read these books. I will put a link to all the publishers of the books, if I can, or at least mention them, and so we can fight for even better choices and better literature, and not only for the very famous authors around the world, which is good. They deserve their place, and like now with Solenoid, everybody will want to read more Romanian authors, and that's fantastic. There only has to be one who breaks through and is a big success, and the other publishers will dive in the pool of other Romanian authors or wherever in the world, and that's only a good thing. But I think that these books and the others that I've mentioned are worth your time, worth the effort to be translated. Thank you for watching, and I hope you can read one of these soon. Bye-bye.